Okay, let's hit a couple more types of sampling here is what we're going to be looking at. So our next one's going to be a cluster sample. So what do you think when you think of a cluster? A group. Now that's a specific type that we're looking at, and here's the key to this. A cluster sample is obtained by selecting, and here's the key word, it's coming at you right now, all individuals within a randomly selected collection or group. Randomly selected collection or group of individuals. Now here's the key. That is 100% the key is right here. A cluster is everything in that group. So I'm going to swing back here just a second. Over here with this stratified sample, yes, we grouped these up, but then I only took part of this group and part of that group. What makes a cluster unique is you're going to take all in that group, that whole group. All right, that's the key to it. Your sample is based on that whole group. All right. Okay, that's what makes it a cluster, which is different. Okay, so a sociologist wants to gather data regarding household income within the city of Boston. Obtain a sample using cluster sampling. So our approach here for the city of Boston can be set up so that each city block is a cluster. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to obtain, that's an I, obtain a simple random sample of the city blocks. So that's our first step. That's our big step. All the city blocks, okay? And then once I get all these city blocks, then I'm going to survey all of the household on the blocks selected. Survey all, that's the key, of the households in the selected blocks. That's the key to this. You just have to decide how many random samples you want. So that's the other part of this. But the key is my block, my city block is my cluster. Within that cluster, I have to take care of everybody in that cluster. That's what makes it a cluster, because everybody in that city block is going to be part of that sample. All right, it's kind of like I have a big scenario of the city of Boston, then I break it down into terms of blocks. Then within that blocks, once I randomly select the blocks, there's the randomization. I randomly select a block within the city, then that block, everybody in that block, that's what makes it a cluster. Okay, I hope that's making sense. All right, cool. And then convenience sample. Again, what we call it is what it is, right? We're not getting fancy on this thing. A convenience sample is a sample of which individuals are easily obtained. La la. Doesn't that make sense? Easily obtained. They are convenient and not based on randomness. So convenience sample is what's available and what's available right now. All right. I want to know how many people are wearing hats. Well, who's wearing a hat right now where I am? Physically right here, right now where I am. Taking a visual inspection. I want to know how many people go into the store. Well, I'm in the store right here, right now. It's convenient. Who am I looking at? I'm not looking at everybody that goes into a grocery store. I'm looking at the grocery store I'm physically standing in right now, right here. And what are you buying, right? It's easily obtained. It's convenient. It's in front of me. That's a convenience sample. All right. So the most popular way, whenever I have a convenient sample, I could go with what's in my immediate, what's happening. Another way is to say, hey, who wants to do this? That's convenient. You come to me. That's dang convenient, right? So it's called self-selected. And one of the most popular ways of convenient sampling are those with individuals are self-selected. The individuals themselves decide to participate, also called voluntary response. Self-selected, voluntary response, those are synonymous, meaning the same thing. All right, that's a good way to do a convenient sampling. They come to you. All right, lastly, here's kind of the sum it up situation. So a simple random sample means I have this population and then I just randomly pick some from it. That's the most common, right? The simple random sample. Stratified says I'm going to break my population into these two groups. Within those groups, then I just pick individuals within that group. That's stratified. Yes, I'm breaking them into groups, but within that group, then I just pick partials, all right? A systematic says, okay, every specific person gets chosen. Every third person in this particular scenario. So it has to be exactly that many. It's a system that you're looking through. The cluster says, okay, I've got this big population. I'm going to break them into groups within that population. And then that whole entire group gets chosen. The whole entire group gets chosen. So do you see the difference between these two? I like looking at this graphic because usually these are the ones that get confused because you are breaking them into groups. Both of these break into groups, but within the stratified group, we just pull out a couple. Within the cluster, the entire cluster, the whole thing is what's chosen. Okay, so here's our 4 different sampling methods that we're looking at right now. All right. Great job, guys. Go enjoy some of this.